If you're looking at a Sprinter van and you're looking at the different options you can get, we have 3 different models here. Actually, the one in the middle first, the smallest, is the Metris van. It's not a Sprinter, it's a Metris. And you can see it's quite a bit smaller than the other ones, low profile so that you can get in and out of a city easier, or driveways, you're not going to be scraping branches and whatnot.
That's the one we saw inside, right?
Yeah, that's the one that was converted inside.
Oh, hello.
Hi, I'm feeling very campy in here.
Tell us about your van.
So this is a Mercedes Metris conversion, the smallest van that the Mercedes-Benz line offers, and this one's been converted in a really cool way. It's got a pop top, which is kind of old school. Just gives it so much more like livable space in here. So these are cool if you need to get like in and out of a city, or you want something that's like super fuel efficient.
Nice.
We have a little solar panel set up.
Oh, wow. This is like totally done out.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool. I mean, if it was like super sunny or raining, this also acts as like a little cover.
Yeah.
I kind of like it. The Metris is obviously going to be the easiest to get around anywhere. You could probably even put this in a parking garage, kind of depending on the city or the garage.
I feel like this would be my kind of van because it's small and it doesn't look intimidating to drive.
Right. This one here is the low roof Sprinter, so more low profile. It probably drives a little bit better since it's not a high profile vehicle. The downside is that you can't stand up. At least most people can't stand up on the inside unless you get like a pop top. So that's more of kind of the stealth van, keeping it simple and still get you a lot of space on the inside, just not necessarily a lot of headroom. And then of course the high roof Sprinter. So this is the Sprinter 144 wheelbase, which I would say, at least for our clients, is the most popular size. This is the high roof version, so you can stand up on the inside easily if you're under 6'2". This particular van is not the 4-wheel drive. The 4-wheel drive vans are extremely popular right now for good reason. They're really fun to drive a 4-wheel drive, especially if you want to get out on back roads, or you might be in the snow, or you do anything kind of adventure based. So just to take a look space-wise, what we've got, it is a decent amount of space. And stand up, no problem. You have about 11 feet from front to back to work with, and just a little bit under 6 feet of width. This is a size of van that's large enough to do a conversion where you feel like you can get kind of everything in here that you might want for camping out for a few days. But it's also small enough that it fits in a standard parking space. You can take it to a city. Yeah, it's just kind of the perfect size, which I think is why it's so popular. They go quickly, so take note if you want one. If you see one, you like it, grab it. If someone were to stay in their van for weeks at a time, or was going to do a road trip across the country where they wanted to see the national parks or visit family, then you might be thinking about moving up to a 170, which gives you about 3 extra feet of space in the back. And with that 3 extra feet, it allows you space to maybe put in a shower, toilet, a larger galley, more storage, or like if you had kids, for example.
Wow, this is a massive van.
Yeah. So now we're getting into the big ones. There's a big difference between the 144 and the 170. Just even though it's the same van, just stretched out, just the feel of it, the look of it, and you can just tell by looking at it that it's going to be more difficult to get in and out of parking lots, or even just driving down, turning the corner. Just takes up more space. So it is what it is. It has more space on the inside, which means more space on the outside. Those are the choices. There's also a 170 extended. That's really getting to be kind of a long van now. It's at the point where it becomes a little bit more difficult to drive, and especially you really can't fit inside a standard parking space at all. You'd be taking up like 2 parking spaces front to back. They're not extremely popular, and you can see why if you look at it. The room inside, sure, it's nice, but it's just not going to drive as well, and if you live in a place that's a little bit more dense, urban, like we do in California, then you're really not going to have space to park it on the street. It's going to be very difficult. They've got stickers on it.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
Let's look at how much these sold for.
This is a 2021 Metris Cargo, 126 wheelbase. It looks like a few little add-ons to it, and that comes to $38,417 before any discounts. And I can tell you, they really don't give discounts right now on vans because someone will buy it for full price, no problem. Now we're taking a look at the 2021 Sprinter low roof. It looks like this one with some basic options on it. It doesn't look like there's a lot of interior options. The retail price on this one is $48,600 off the lot. So it's about $10,000 more than the Metris. On to the high roof Sprinter. It looks like to add the high roof, to go from the low roof we just looked at to the high roof, is $2,850. And this actually has quite a few of the more premium options on it. That adds around $3,000 to it. So the sticker on this one is reading $56,897. If you want a four-wheel drive van, it adds around $8,500 last time I checked. So it's a pretty big bump to get the four-wheel drive. But again, we think it's worth it. If you drive it anywhere that's off of pavement, then it's really nice to have. Is the 2021 turbo diesel 3500 cargo van. So since it's a cargo van, it's stripped down on the inside. There's really not a lot going on in there. They've added a few things, but nothing super premium on it. And the retail on this is going for $57,568. And if you want four-wheel drive, you can expect to pay in the neighborhood of around $65,000 for one of these vans. It seems to me that one of the issues with the Sprinters is that they have a lot of different options, and I'm not sure how that works for the dealers with trying to sell them, but you just have so many different packages and cargo packages, driver convenience package, and all of these different things that I think it might be hard sometimes for a customer that's coming in to find the exact van that they want. But it's the same with upfitting a van. I think, you know, people want a van and they go online and they see some videos or some Instagram pictures that look like what they want, but when you really start to dig into it, there's so many different options that it can become kind of a confusing process, and it can definitely get to be very expensive very quickly to try to do everything in a van.
Right there.
What's up, you guys?
Now let it settle for a few minutes, and then we'll see where the points are that need to be covered. Okay.
Is this that fan?
Arctic Turn.
The Arctic
Skylight.
Skylight.
Did you guys make the hole for it? Oh, it's
Yeah,
already in
Yeah,
there.
we just sealed it in.
Oh, nice job.
Light.
Your choice. It actually gives you two options, like complete darkness or, you know, just a little shade.
Oh, wow.
You got options here.
If you want to, you can stick those little screws into it.
How are you today, Wes?
I'm wonderful, Katie. How are you?
Oh, absolutely fantastic. Hi, Holly.
See you.
Hi, Dad. Hi.
We're looking good.
Wow, this is my first time walking on a ladder here.
Hey, well, there's a lot that happens on the route. There's a lot to see.
Yeah, I got a good view from up here.
Well, if you're on a ladder here, fix the hole.
Oh, wow, look at, I'm not on the ladder anymore. Job, Wes.
Do you want me to explain what we do up here?
Oh, yeah, explain what you do up here.
Okay, we make fun of everybody because we're up higher than everyone.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
No, we're doing the final seal on this roof hat. Seal of approval. Jordan needs to sign it when he's done. No, this creates a watertight seal around this. It's called lap seal. It's self-leveling. It's probably one of the best products that we have. This right here. All this here.
Oh.
This 100% seals it. It's self-leveling. You just put it on there and it just slides down. It's amazing. I love it.
What's so funny?
I'm just researching how much it costs to build a camper van, and I was excited to see that you can do it for under $1,000.
For the nuts and bolts?
No, it says it right here. Here's another one. This one looks more legit. $18,000. Oh, wait a second. Oh, $18,000 and 1,000 hours. Just 1,000. Everyone's got 1,000 hours to spare. Oh, and that excludes the cost of the van. It's really easy to be misled by online videos and blogs about how much it costs to build a van. Hey everybody, we're back in the office, and we just previously talked about the cost to purchase a van, and I wanted to go over the cost to build out the van, which is a much bigger unknown for most people. There's basically 3 ways that you can go about acquiring one. The first is to buy one that's already built. This may be a prefabricated vehicle that's done by like a major upfitter that does hundreds of or thousands of them per year, or somebody who has already built one and they're selling it online. With that option, buying a pre-built vehicle, you basically know the cost that is going to be associated with getting into that vehicle. For people who are impatient and really want to just hit the road, I think that's actually the best option, is to find one that's already built and purchase that. The second way to go about it is basically to go the DIY route and do the van build yourself or with your partner or with your friends. That is probably the area where there's the most bad information about how much it costs, because oftentimes you'll find a list of the components and their associated costs, but the actual time that's taken to build the van is usually done for free because it's your own time. The third way to go about getting a van is to actually use a professional builder, and whether you're going to go with one of their standard designs or you're going to do it custom to your needs, then you're going to hire a professional that's done it before to build out your van. I want to go back to the DIY builds real quick. If you kind of do some searches online and look for blogs or vlogs that are talking about how much it costs to build a van, you can get price estimates anywhere from a few $1,000s up to $10,000 or $20,000, but very often, if you really read through the details, you'll find that it's just generally not accurate to how much it would actually cost you of your own money. After browsing through a few articles today, we found that quite a few people are estimating in terms of labor hours to do a van build themselves, maybe 500, 600, or 1,000 hours total. And if you really think about it, if you were to, get off of work every day and work on your van for just 2 hours, and including the weekends, a 1,000-hour build is going to take someone about 500 days to do their build. And just even saying it out loud, it sounds absurd, right? 500 days of working just to do a van build. And however much you value your time at, you can just multiply that by 1,000. You are starting with just a very basic tool set, and you're looking to get everything you need to build a van. You're probably going to spend around $5,000 to $10,000 on tools. I would say that when I started my first van, I know that I rang up a $5,000 build just in tools that I knew that I needed to get started. There's just so many different skills that are needed in order to build out a van that you're gonna have a big learning curve, first of all, and then have a fairly significant investment in tools. There's pretty much no way that someone's going to get a full van build done for $15,000 like they might say online. We're just trying to give people a bit of a reality check before they get too far into a project to, just get a better idea of what the van's actually going to cost. If you guys do decide to use a professional shop to build out your van, you're looking at the same in between probably 500 and 1,000 labor hours. That would be a good way to estimate the cost to have a professional van builder do it as well, is to just get their hourly labor rate and multiply it between 500 for a simple build and 1,000 for a more complex build. And going into more detail about the okay. Are we good? If you're interested in going into more detail about the overall cost to build a van, we're going to do a deep dive in next week's video where I have a spreadsheet that I use to cost out a van, and I'm going to share that with you guys, where you can go in, select the materials that you would be interested in, and then also get the associated amount of time in terms of labor hours that it's going to take. So watch out for that next week. I think that's going to be a big help for people who are just getting into this, to kind of get their head around what this is actually going to cost to pull off.
Wow. Enough with the noise of the shop. It is time to go outside. Something I didn't even realize about the process of getting a Mercedes Sprinter van is that the demand has recently just absolutely skyrocketed and the supply is a bit more limited. I actually don't even really know too much about why that is, and Jeremy knows a little bit more than I do, so let's go find him. We have made it officially to the tree tunnel in Point Reyes. Oh, hello.
In the past couple years, the demand has really just exploded. It just seems like everybody that we meet from 18 to 81 wants to be in the van life. Mercedes has had trouble keeping up with the demand for a number of reasons. First of all, I don't think that Mercedes would have been able to anticipate how popular the Sprinter became in the US. Secondly, in 2020 and 2021, there have been emissions issues. So the emission standards in the US are really stringent, and these are diesel vehicles. So they've had to add all sorts of different emissions controls so that they could be legal to drive in the United States, and that's like really slowed down production. Third, of course, COVID. Just as the demand for the vans is really exploding, there's major supply chain issues around the world. Everything from shipping to manufacturing and microchips have all affected Mercedes' ability to basically put this van out onto the market.
How long have people been waiting?
It's not uncommon to wait at least 8 months, but more like a year to get a van.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
An entire year?
I know. So if you're looking for a van and you want to get into the lifestyle, the first hurdle that you're going to have to overcome is actually getting a van in your possession. So we at Vanland just ordered 3 brand new vans spec'd out just the way we wanted them, 4-wheel drive, in mid-April of 2021, and we hope to get them by the end of 2021, meaning like maybe by December 31st. I wouldn't be surprised if they extend further into 2022. So we're talking maybe 8 months at best. 10 months is more likely, but I also wouldn't be surprised if we have to wait a year. The demand for basically mobile living, especially in the form of smaller vans, has just exploded. And it's interesting to just ask why. When you have a van, especially one that's converted, it's just like having the things with you to do your favorite activities anytime you want. You don't really have to plan for it. And I would just say the opportunities that it opens up for a person that likes the outdoors and likes to do activities is it's one of a kind. It certainly, was a dream of mine, and now that I've made it happen, there's no letdown about it. It's one of those things where once you do it, you realize this was totally worth it.